It's a great day to talk hockey with Grant McCagg on Habscast.
Absolutely fantastic day to talk hockey after, I don't know, the worst World Cup soccer final that I've ever seen, anyways. Oh my God. I mean, started with that pregame farce. Then, I don't know, like I turned the channel and I turned it at halftime too. And then as soon as the orange, whatever it is, got it, I left, I turned the channel then too. Anyway, boring, boring, boring. My goodness. Soccer versus hockey, come on, like it just, if that wasn't a prime example of why every day is a great day to talk hockey and not every day is a great day to talk soccer. I think we just witnessed it with that boring World Cup final. That was just that was hard to watch, man. Argentina, like how no shots on goal. Anyway, it wasn't very exciting. Good thing I was prepping for tonight's show. Um, got some extra stuff in. So Sawyer versus Thorpe. That's our main topic for tonight. Different players to a certain degree, but I've got them fairly closely ranked in my rankings. Like, same neighborhood. They're both going to be fighting for bottom six spots, I would say, in Montreal's lineup. Could Sawyer turn into a second line player? Maybe. I mean, I'm not, it's too early to pigeonhole him and say no, he can't be a second line winger, but um it's pretty, I think Montreal's top six is going to be pretty tough for um any prospect that was picked outside of the top the top 60 in the organization. Just the numbers say it. I mean, Owen Beck isn't a very good doesn't have a very good chance to ever be a top six player, and he was picked 35th overall. So should somebody 78th overall, you know, beat out others? I mean, Pugachev has to obviously jump ahead of him on Montreal's depth chart, right? You got Bolduc, you got Doc, uh, uh, Zorowski. There's a lot of guys that he would have to um, beat out, and perhaps even Hage ends up being a winger. Does he beat him out? Uh, Probably not. Um, but you never say never. You keep watching these guys. Sawyer's gotten bigger, right? As the um, since his rookie year. His name is Glub. Thank you, Scott. Sheldon, Tooney. Didn't no words, just Tooney. Here's your Tooney. Hey, at least I always make $2. I know I feel confident that I'm going to be up $2 after every podcast. So you inspire me, Sheldon, to I know at least I'm going to come out of it with a toonie. Thanks, my friend. Um, so I'll get to that in a minute, but I came up. I saw a graphic today, and I got thinking about it. Uh, Connor Bedard signs with Connor Bedard signs with Chicago, right? 15 mil. They signed Bowen Byram, and I got thinking, there's a team that has a lot of good young talent. How does their future look compared to Montreal's when it comes to having cap space and having, and how's it going to look? Well, here's something that just struck me just as being crazy, but it's true. In 2027, 28, all right, cap hit, Connor Bedard and Bowen Byram are going to be combined uh, 27.5 million on the cap, right? Ivan Demidov, Blaine Hudson, Juraj Slavkovsky, David Reinbacher, and Michael Hage. $27.5 million. Identical. The identical cap hit for those 5 players compared to Chicago's 2 players. Now, you ask me, I think Ivan Demidov is going to be as good, or perhaps, you know, maybe even a little better than Connor Bedard. I think I think he's going to be as good. Maybe he won't, but at the very least close to Connor Bedard for his career. Yeah, he's not a center, so Bedard maybe gets a little edge in value in that sense, but okay, fine. Say Bedard gets a little edge. We'll just say that. All right, then. What about Hudson versus Byram? Well, I mean, come on. It's not even, it's not even a discussion. It's Lane Hudson is and will be better than Bowen Byram. I don't think anyone would argue that. Uh, okay, so edge already to Montreal, right? Well, then you throw in the first overall pick, Uri Slafkovsky, fifth overall pick, David Reinbacher, Michael H, the best player at the World Juniors last year, and one of the best prospects outside of the NHL. Personally, I think Reinbacher is probably the best. Like, before this draft, Reinbacher vastly underrated. I think he's going to be a top 3 right defenseman, like top 3 overall defenseman in Montreal down the road. Hage, upside of a second line center. Slav is a first line power forward all day. Demidov, first line winger, is what he's going to be. Hudson, a friggin' franchise defenseman. Same salary. And it's not just going to be, that Demidov, Hudson, Slafkovsky will be making that same salary for several years after that, too. Reinbacher, Hage, that'll remain to be seen, but pretty good bet that Reinbacher and Hage's second contracts won't be for $15 million like Connor Bedard. Anyway, that just struck me as being an amazing, an amazing glimpse at just how good a job Kent Hughes and his capologist gang have done in signing Montreal's young core, long-term, at a great price, right? Like, tell me that the Canadian, people said, are they going to have some cap issues in the future when you got to sign, Reinbacher, Hage, all those? Well, no, they're not. The cap's going to keep going up. All of these other guys, all of the main core guys are all signed to great contracts. So it's just, it's set up so well for the Canadiens. And, let's say they take a step back from their overachievement this year of going to the Eastern Conference Finals, and they lose. I don't know. They make the playoffs and they lose in the first or second round. It's not that big a deal. It really isn't, because they are set. They are set for years to come here in being a contender. I really think so. And it maybe next year's the year too. I'm just saying, even if there is a disappointment next spring, the future is still going to be so bright. It's not going to be like when the Habs lost the final to Vegas or to Tampa, right? And you knew that was their chance, and they weren't going to get back in. In fact, they finished last the next season. And right, after obviously after Weber and Price were out, you knew, like, all right, this ain't happening again. This definitely isn't happening again. So, but completely different feeling now, right? Even if they don't succeed next year, it's just the next 5 years, the Habs are just going to be dynamite. So it's going to be so fun to follow them. I mean, I could not have picked a better time to start up a Habs cast than last fall. I just look so forward to watching this team over the next 5 to 10 years. Um, it's gonna be a blast, and I'm glad you folks are on board to have the blast with me. So, um, no other. The World Cup kind of took the center stage today. Not a lot going on. I went outside for a little bit there earlier today, and uh, during the halftime of the before extra time started, and not a soul, no, very few people out and about. But um, hey, that's over. That friggin' month or month and a half or however long it took, done. Now we can get our heads back to full time to hockey here. Hockey talk. Let's talk hockey. Every day, it's a great day to talk hockey. Okay, I'm going to start doing some prospect comparisons here. You know, um, and I thought Thorpe, Sawyer. I was looking at Tyler Thorpe, got a couple of videos, and well, I'll have a look at Sawyer here, and I'll compare the two because I've kind of, I've been of the opinion, um, going into this. I'll be honest. I was of the opinion that I thought maybe some media guys and stuff, in Montreal media guys, maybe tooting Sawyer's horn a little too loudly, and conversely, folks not really saying a whole hell of a lot about Tyler Thorpe. Like people are creatures of stats, right? I mean, they look at Tyler Thorpe. Oh, he only scored 4 goals. Oh, Logan Sawyer scored 14. So Logan Sawyer, and he was drafted higher. So Logan Sawyer is the better prospect, right? Well, it's not. First of all, what I'm looking at and what I'm, trying to project here is who's the who has the best chance of being in Montreal's lineup in, the next 2 to 3 years. That's ultimately what this is all about, right? Who's who's going to win a spot and who isn't? Are either of them going to win a spot? Are they both going to be playing? If so, will one be higher up in the lineup than the other? Well, we'll have a look at the video. I'm just grabbing. I hadn't done this ahead of time, and apologies, but I'm just grabbing their stats here. Their harder stats, but Sawyer's like 9 months younger than Thorpe. All right, we're gonna get this this up in a sec. All right. Sawyer was second on Providence in points this year, 14 goals, 14 assists. It was a nice jump from his freshman year, as we often see, right? Here it is. Here he had 6 goals, 10 assists in his freshman year. Came back bigger, stronger. Had 28 points year two. Plus minus went from +7 to +3. Went down a little bit, but there was a nice jump there. I think he improved his skating a bit. He got bigger, stronger, a little faster. Um, you know, did some maturing. I mean, he was a 19-year-old kid, right? Or even like an 18-year-old kid for his first college season. So 19 this past year. He's just turned 20. Probably 6'1.5" now. I'd figure somewhere around 195. So size is okay, right? Um, and we have a look at Thorpe here. And I apparently do not have them. Just a sec here. There it is. Yeah. So 4 goals, 12 assists, 16 points, 77 PIMs as a rookie in Laval. He played 1 game the year before, had 2 assists. Looked really good in that game. But don't pay too much attention to those stats, folks. You know, a typically a 20-year-old 6'5" kid playing pro hockey in the AHL, it's an adjustment period, right? It does take time. And he was typically on the fourth line. He played with Arsenault in the playoffs. And I mean, Arsenault's not going to, you're not going to be tic-tac-toeing with Vincent Arsenault. It was his job was to hit, be physical, forecheck, and he did it, and he did it well. I thought as the year went on, you just saw a progression as he, you know, and let
Thorpe attaque à la ligne bleue. Loki Johansson, Yanni.
all right, we'll get back to the start here. This is Providence Laval. Um, here here we'll get a look, but I like his skating. Okay, first and foremost, he's a smooth skater. I mean, I interviewed his junior coach Manny Viveros from 2 years ago in Vancouver, and he commented on just how good a skater he is, and he also has a good shot. So the 4 goal, I look for a real jump in him in his production next year. He's gonna get a top 9 role. Look at that. I don't know about that call, but you can see here he's strong on the forecheck. He gets in there and mixes it up really nice. I like his. This was against Providence early in the year, by the way. And I've got 2 games here, and we'll see even the progression since then. But see there, he gets in, gets the puck, gets it out front. He's got qualities that I think are ideal for a fourth line, perhaps even third line someday. There again, finishing his check, getting in on the puck. He's got a really long stick there, and you combine that. There was a nice play to Tuck. Played with Tuck on it, a lot in this particular game. Here again, finishing his check, right? You got to love it. He's going to wear down defenses at the NHL level if and when he gets the call up. There again, good solid defensive play behind his own net, or behind the opponent's net. Sorry, in on the forecheck again. Right, got the puck out. He should have had more assists. As you can see here, he set up 4 or 5 really good plays. There's another one, the forecheck, bangs 2 guys. All right, heads back into the play. But one more good off-season summer here. He's still only 20 years old, folks. Hasn't turned 21 yet. But look at this rush. Good luck stopping him. Bulls right through. Here he is, hamming her up. Check out the scrap here. This he's going to be a very good scrapper. He already is. This kid has the reach, size, strength. I'm, and Manny, his coach, said, like, yeah, he didn't, just scratching the surface when it comes to that. He doesn't realize how tough he is with the kid. I honestly think that he's probably at this point has more potential as a NHL fighter than Florian. Um, massive reach, strong. He can throw them, and I'll have a couple more clips a little later on, and it was the same in junior. Freaking kid, uh, kid is a fighter. He can fight, so he's got that in his repertoire. There, run over a guy there. Um, Here he is back. Look at that play. So he's smart. I don't see a lot of mistakes from him. He's smart with the puck. You know, he knows that his ticket to the NHL here is as a you know as a grinder. Get in on the forecheck, hit hard, finish checks. There he goes again. Make life difficult on the opposing defense, protect the puck. Um, all those things. And yeah, I agree, Sheldon. He sees the ice well, reads the plays well, good anticipation, you could say, gets in on it. Like, I honestly thought he should have been getting more ice time. I think he had like 9 minutes in this game, and as far as I'm concerned, he was one of their best forwards. And he played 4.5 minutes in the game 5, which I don't know. I guess they ignored this tape because this is game 4 where they won 4-0, and he played on the line with Jacky and Arsenault. But I thought he was one of the best forwards on the team. So Pascal, like the Habs kind of do a lot, is they protect their young players, right? They're rookies. They don't get a whole pile of ice time. Look at him there, like, you want to go me? No problem there, Chadwick. Wait till he's 22. He's gonna be a force. He really is. I one more good summer here. Fighting not what it used to be. Oh no, of course not. But if you got both, my friend, you got to be able to play. He's a good skater. He's smart. He scored big goals in junior. Like, a kid can shoot the puck. So you're going to see what you're going to see is an offensive breakthrough from him this year. Look at him get back here too. Florian doesn't get back. There's Florian there, line and a half behind him. Like, he's a better skater than Florian. Honestly, you you hold a gun to my head, say who do I think has better a chance of being a regular NHLer between Thorpe and Jacky? I picked Thorpe. I just better skater for sure. He can shoot the puck everywhere as good as Florian. He just Florian had that big year last year, and credit to him. But I think you're going to see good numbers from Thorpe this year. I really do believe that. It was just filling out process as a 20-year-old, and don't forget, you know, at the start of camp last year, like, he just turned 20, right? So he was a young 20 at the start of the year. And I mean, you look at like a guy like Josh Anderson, when he was a 20-year-old playing in the AHL, 17 points, basically the exact same point total as Thorpe. And he developed into, like, he ends up being a 27 goal scorer in Columbus 2 or 3 years down the road. So don't sleep on this kid's potential. I think he's got third line upside, and even his coach Vivro said middle line upside. I mean, I don't see him being on the second line, but this kid can bring. He's going to bring quite a bit, and I'm excited about his future. I think he's exactly what the doctor's going to order in a year or two when he's ready. And the Canadiens need some size and physicality in their bottom six. I see it with this kid. I think he's going to play. I really like his floor. Maybe not the highest ceiling. He's not going to be a first line winger, but I think he could be either a fourth line or a third line winger that brings you goals, that brings lots of physicality, that can skate, that pretty smart, make plays, and hit and fight. So um, I'm looking forward to this season for him. Like a lot of players, it's up to them, right? I can make all these projections. I can make all predictions on prospects. I can watch every game, you know, but it's still ultimately up to that player. Their off seasons when they're 20, 21, 22, 23 are so important, you know. It's big off season for Kapanen. Huge off season for Ryan Bacher. Same goes for Florian. Exact same goes for Sawyer, and exact same thing goes for Thorpe and every other kid that age in the organization, and Jarosky, and on and on. You know, we can project all we want, but if a kid parties all summer and doesn't work out, then he's not going to reach his potential. And we don't. I don't know that. I don't know what each prospect is doing, but from all accounts and from what Viveros told me too, this is a hardworking kid. He gets it. He's smart. He's dedicated. He'll do the work. You know, just like the Habs have so many players in that mold, right? You know, the Hudson's, Demidov, and on and on. They all just have really good work ethics and high character. And from all accounts, Tyler Thorpe is, you know, he's in that category as well. So, um, really, really good. Hey, if he'd have been at that development camp, he would have probably dominated this year. But anyway, that's yeah, sure. It's a big off season for Beck as well. Yeah. Um, so here's one other. Here's
Qui s'en mêle avec Del Gaizo.
Wow.
Est-ce que ça va tirer Kakonen?
Thorpe. Here's just a few added bonuses here. Thorpe is, like I say, he's a tough customer. This was against Belleville. I don't know. There probably won't be too many guys that I think word will get around this year. You know, you're going to have your hands full if you scrap with this Thorpe kid, because I have a feeling he's going to be one of the elite scrappers in the AHL. Okay, he makes this hit. Boom. This guy drops the gloves, right? Big mistake. Check this out. Yeah, thanks for coming out. And check out. Okay, I got this twice, but check out his reaction when he gets to the. This is the Florian type stuff, but right here, yeah, two guys in the box, and yeah, I think that was maybe a rugged, rough game against Belleville. Look at this fight. That's one of the fights of the year, folks. Like hammering each other's. He can take a punch, but look at the bombs he throws. That was definitely a top 5 scrap last season, as far as I'm concerned. I'm gonna look at that one more time, because these guys were throwing. This was like almost Jay McCow and Ron DeLorme. Look at the haymakers. Oh, wow. You know, all due respect to Florian Jack guy, I don't think he throws him. I don't think he throws him like that. This kid can go, and that's at 20 years old, fighting these guys. So, yeah. Oh no, he has the uppercut right there. Boom. And he did it with the last guy too. And then the two of them at the end here. Yeah, good scrub. Ooh, thanks for thanks for punching me in the face. Yeah, you too. Look at this, and then this was against Toronto. Just some of his hits in the in that playoff series. Like, that's going to be nice in Montreal. Look at him come back here. He got the one, comes back, skates back, catches a guy, gets the other one. So, bigger version of Josh Anderson. So, we got two of them coming. Pugachev and Thorpe, the Torpedo. And look at there, eh? Even gets back, gets to the puck, shoots it back in. But here's another one, staples him to the back, and then Florian scores. You know, that was all. That was all Thorpe. Thorpe and his heavy forecheck, right? So you know, I've got a soft spot for Mr. Thorpe, and I think he's an underrated prospect. I'm going to be doing a top 20. I'm going to do 11 to 20 and 1 to 10 prospect rankings over the next couple of weeks here, and you might be surprised where I have Thorpe on my list, but or you might not. I think you probably get an idea that I'm impressed by this kid. I think he brings elements, much like Pugachev, that are going to be much needed in the bottom six for a club that wants to one day challenge. You know, if you're going to win 4 playoff series, you need guys like this. I think we saw that in the playoffs. You know, Alex Texier played a role or whatever, but you know, tell me this past playoff if I'd have preferred having Alex Texier and Brendan Gallagher in the bottom 6, you know, this year, or you know, Joe Veleno and Alex Texier, or prime Pugachev and this kid Thorpe. Well, I think you know the answer to that. In fact, I think I'd have rather had them in the lineup this year. But anyway, 2-3 years from now, I can see him. I can see him being um, a vital part of that bottom 6. I think all of the pieces are there. Just gonna need to be consistent. He's gonna need to know his role. You know, play hard, keep that motor running. He's got all the physical. He's got all the physical assets. It's just gonna get stronger, get experience, and next year, no, I don't see him. I don't see him getting into the lineup. But the following year, you know, 2 good off seasons here. I think he comes to camp in 2 years, is close, and at some point in 2 years, he maybe gets the look, right? And if he's not ready 2 years from now, I really think the following camp, like 3 camps from now, he should be ready. I would be surprised if he's not um, winning a spot at the very latest 3 camps, 3 camps from now. So that's my look at the Torpedo. So how does he stack up against Logan Sawyer? Well, why don't we get out the video on Logan? Have a look here. Two games also with Sawyer here. This is him against Providence. And I like his motor. You know, he works. I think that's one thing that really I saw an improvement on from him, and in part because he just got stronger and bigger, right? You can see there, like he doesn't have the speed to get to the outside, beat guys to the outside, but here he is on the a little late getting to the puck, but again, he's working. I like I like his motor. He's got a good motor. Keeps, and that can make up for if he's skating to a certain degree, right? As long as you keep those feet moving, it helps out. There's a good forecheck from him. Rub the guy out. As you can see, like his size is decent, right? I think he's at least 6'1.5" now, over 190. So, he was listed at 6'1" in his draft year, 174. So there's a good, he's got a bit of spunk, and I like that. I like that in him. There again too. He gets in on the play. They use him to carry the puck in on the power play quite a bit. He's got really good hands. That he sees the ice well, but when the Canadiens have made a point of drafting a lot of guys, I'll get previous 2 drafts, they got a lot of good stick handlers, and hey, I mean it's it's a big part of the game, right? Certainly at the lower levels, puck handling's important skill, and he's got good hands, good puck protection, and you can see in these highlights that he makes some nice moves with the puck. Here he is asking for the pass. Doesn't come. There's a highlight a little later where he really asks for the pass. But a lot of his points came on. Look at him, pissed off. They blew the whistle early. A lot of his points came on the power play. He's pretty good. He's pretty good in the offensive zone on the power play, where skating isn't, as big a deal. He cycling the puck and moving it around. Good shot. So from the blue line in, I like his game, especially on the man advantage. Like he could help a second power play if and when he makes the NHL. I think he's got some power play potential there. There was a spin around shot on net. This was a good game. Like he played. I liked him in this game. And again, he keeps his feet moving, and he's actually didn't mind his speed in this game. He had a little more jump than we'll see in the next one, but his technique is an issue. He doesn't, his doesn't have much bend in his legs, and especially later in shifts, it looks like he's bent over. It looks like he's carrying a piano sometimes, and that's not always a good thing. It's not always fixable, right? So I think his skating can only improve so much. He's never going to be an above average NHL skater. I think that's fair to say. But again, if you keep your motor running, get out on the highway, look for adventure, whatever comes your way is all good. So, yeah, exactly. He's a little knock-kneed, Sheldon. That's exactly what it is. And that's not something, that's bone structure, right? You can't fix that. It's and that's something that scouts look at. That's why I know teams that didn't have him on their draft list in his draft year, because they just said, no, he can't skate. He can't skate. He's not going to be able to skate well enough. And it is the concern. It is the main concern. And you'll see in this particular game, it stands out a little more. Just I mean, he doesn't have good edges. Like it looks, when a guy looks like his skates are dull. That's not necessarily a good thing. The feet are moving, but he's not. He's not. Yeah, he doesn't have great edges. Pretty wide turns. But there, you see at the end of the shift, he likes to tap his stick. He's got the beaver slap down pat. There's one a little later that's really obvious. I'm not a huge fan of that. It can rub teammates the wrong way. Sometimes you don't get the puck because of it. There was a nice rush by him. Again, he works his ass off, so there completes his check there. Here gets back to him. Wants the puck. Taps the stick. I'm going to try to talk to one of his coaches and ask him about that. I might even play a video of one there. It's coming up, third period, but here he is on the. That wasn't a very good pass. See there? He's got a piano on his back, grand piano. But I mean, he, head down and he hustles. I'll give him that, right? But that's really gonna, at the NHL pace, trying to keep up. It's certainly top six role is not something that I envision him ever, ever winning on the Canadiens. There's just too many bodies in front of him. Here again, he doesn't stop and start. He does the wide turns, right? But he keeps moving. I'll give him that. He does keep moving his feet, and he gets there. I'll just put it that way. There was a good pass. So he's smart. He competes. Good stick handler. Got a decent shot. There was a nice almost scored, and he drew a penalty. So that was a good play. Here he is again on the power play. See him? Okay, we got to back that up. Check out the beaver slaps here. He comes back. Like, okay, buddy. Like, seriously? I can't remember seeing somebody do it that one more time here. He circles back. Come on. Be doing that. Don't like to see that. Anyway. Team's got Roger McQueen, John Mustard. Like, what? You think you're the only good player on the team, or what? Anyway, that kind of stuff rubs me the wrong way, and I don't think it impresses teammates too much. It's just it's not a good sign. So, anyway, that's my look at Logan Sawyer. Here was one of his goals but you can see here, he's got a good shot, right? He can unload it. Nice snipe. So, that's Logan Sawyer. Okay, quiet there, buddy. So, little deeper look at the stats here when I compare the two, right? Like, and again, I think people, there were some media reports. People went and saw him and gushing about him playing in college last year, and all of a sudden it was, I kept getting, oh, what about Logan Sawyer? Like, the NHLer. I don't know. I like Tyler Thorpe's chances of playing in the NHL a lot more. I think his floor is up here and Sawyer's is down here. Ceiling wise, more, maybe Sawyer's just a little higher ceiling than Thorpe, maybe. But, the floor ceiling combination I like a lot better with Thorpe. I think he's going to play, and Sawyer, I'm not so sure. I mean, there's a lot of work that's going to need to be done there. I mean, will his skating ever be good enough? Maybe, but you know, you got Demidov, Slavkovsky, Caulfield, maybe Hage, if not, um, maybe Beck, Doc, maybe. But you got Bolduc, you got Jarosky, you've got, and this is before we even get to Thorpe. You know, is he gonna is like I don't see him as an ideal fourth line kind of guy. That's Thorpe is ideal fourth line guy on a cup winning team, but is Sawyer? Probably not. Like I don't see him as a defensive stalwart, right? He's not gonna have he's not mean, he's average size, so, but not big. He's not rugged. He competes, but he's not tough. He's not great defensively, and he's not a very good skater. So, those are the strikes against him as far as playing a bottom six role. And I don't think he's going to be a top six guy with the Habs. So he's in tough. But hey, all of the guys I mentioned were drafted ahead of him, right? So is he supposed to beat out Pugachev? Is he supposed to beat out Bolduc? Is he supposed to beat out any of these guys? No. So it's just the reality of the situation. So at the end of the day, when I rank my prospects and who I think has a better chance of being in the Habs lineup someday, for me it's Tyler Thorpe. And I don't right now. It's not particularly close, but that could change. Tyler Thorpe could have might not progress this year. And if we see, if he has 4 goals again or 6 goals and 10 assists, uh, you know, then no. And Logan Sawyer has 25 goals and his skating improves. And next year at this time, when I do this again, I'll say, well, you know, now Thorpe doesn't look like the better prospect. Sawyer does. So again, it's not up to me. It's up to them. It's what they do, what they do. What they do in the gym, what they do on the ice, what they do up here. It's here. It's on the players. I can make these predictions, but I don't know what's going on behind the scenes. I don't know what's in their head. I don't know who is the most committed, and all of that matters, right? If Thorpe, is at the 19th hole all year golfing, and Sawyer works his ass off, then next year at this time, guess what? I'll like Sawyer more than I like Thorpe. But today, as it stands right now, for me, Tyler Thorpe is the better NHL better NHL, but certainly better Montreal prospect. I think he'll be 21 this year, right? He'll have that year under his belt, and I see him getting, 12 to 15 minutes. Look, I looked at almost all of Thorpe's points were primary, and all but one were even strength. He had 11 even strength primary points this year, and Logan Sawyer had 13. So, at the end of the day, that is a pretty telling stat for me, right? he got 11 even strength primary points and playing with fourth line players for the most part. Well, he'll get more offensive opportunity this year. I do believe he'll play with better players. And I look for that stat line to, he had 16 points, 4 goals this year. I saw he's got goal scoring ability. He's got a really good shot. Did he get a lot of chances to show it off this year? No. You know who else had 4 goals as a rookie in the NHL? Big kid, Slav. And I saw some similar. You got to adjust to the lack of time and space. All of a sudden, right? You go from playing junior hockey to playing pro hockey, AHL. It's a big jump. The AHL is a really good league. You're 20 years old. You're a big kid. Like I said with Anderson, and look it up. Most big kids that play in the AHL at 20 years of age, they don't have big stat lines their first year. There's the odd exception, but it's rare at 20 years of age. And they babied him a bit. They didn't, just like Jared Davidson as a rookie, they didn't play him a whole hell of a lot. Look at what Davidson did in his second pro year with Montreal, with Laval. I think we'll see the same thing with Thorpe this year. I expect 15 plus goals from him. He'll beat up some guys, he'll beat up some players. He'll be tough, rugged. And I see him jumping up, a lot of these folks that, fellow media members that do prospect rankings and stuff. I suspect that they'll be moving Tyler Thorpe up on their lists by the end of this year. That's my gut feeling, and we'll see if it comes true. All right, let's get to some of your questions here and comments, mostly comments. Let people undervalue Rhino. He will have the last laugh. We will have the last laugh. Yeah, I know. Another guy that's undervalued. Oh, Marcus matched Sheldon's toonie. Thank you very much, gentlemen. I appreciate the monetary contributions as always. Hugo are awesome. The players buying in are just as impressive. Yep. Thorpe had good timing on the forecheck. Good anticipation. Yeah, well, good eye, Sheldon, as usual. Fighting not what it used to be. He looks like he can play. Yep, exactly. Better skater than Florian. Oh, yeah. And better skater than Sawyer. Excellent skater, I agree. Mark Lachance. Hey, Mark. Thanks for tuning in, and thanks for contributing. Fairly new name in live chat. From the limited videos you showed us, Thorpe is better than Flo and Sawyer. I think so. I do believe so. I like his upside more than both of them. I like all three, but Thorpe I really like. Needs some big bodies on third and fourth line, and he can definitely fill that role. Yeah. Always finishes his checks. Gotta like it. Absolutely. I do. I like Thorpe. He can be a Wilson type player. Yeah. There is some Wilson there. There is. I mean, that's, Wilson's kind of the, not too many people are Wilson, but that he can, I don't think he'll end up getting Wilson type numbers, and he won't, he's not going to play with Ovechkin. That helps. But yeah, there are some similarities to Tom Wilson. You got to like that. These are the years when prospects get left behind or they continue to develop. Well said, Sheldon. Gleb and Thorpe, keep your heads up. Yep. Hey, Marty. Nice to have Marty Lapointe as one of the and Bob Rev too. Bob Rev knows, he knows you need the mix. Bob Rod's a smart cookie. Marty's an old hockey man that loves compete, loves hitting. I mean, look, is it a coincidence that the players that Marty values most are players that played like he did? No, it's no coincidence, right? Old time scrap. That was a dandy. It really was. That's what the Habs need is strengthen the bottom six. Yeah, well, that's why they drafted Pugachev, and that's why I think Thorpe is going to be an NHLer someday. We've got 94 tuning in here on Habscast YouTube, 96. Let's get her up to 100, folks. We're almost there. If you're watching on X, check out our YouTube channel. It's it's the place to be. Maybe I'll pin this podcast. Let's see here. Mike Bloom, Ottawa legend. Yeah. Yeah. I am going to pin this to my profile. So if you're watching on, check out my profile. It's pinned. Hit the YouTube live button there. If you're watching on X, join us in the live chat. Hit the like button. Give your thoughts. Who do you think's a better prospect? Tyler Thorpe, Logan Sawyer? But most of the people here agreeing with me. There must be some Sawyer fans here. Sawyer can't skate. Where will he fit in? Well, it's going to be the issue, and as was noted, little knock knee. You can't fix knock knee. I mean, you can get stronger, you can get faster, but it's going to at the end of the day limit just how much you can improve your skating typically. So it's going to be it's going to be an uphill battle for him to play in the NHL. But hey, you're picking in the third round. You get a kid that's developing as he is in college. All the power to him. I'm glad he keeps improving, and I'm certainly not going to say no. He can't. He can't play in the NHL. It just may not be in Montreal. Maybe it ends up being somewhere else, or maybe he does make Montreal. I don't. He doesn't have any intangibles. Well, he works hard. He's got a good motor, and he's got very good hands. So, and a good shot. I know we didn't see it there, but so there's some intangibles, Brian. I wouldn't, but anyway, Toro needs to be on the roster. If he's the extra attacker in the stands, he should stay in Laval. Toro needs to be on the roster. Okay, Dan, I'm not sure. Are you talking about Thorpe? He's not ready yet. Thorpe seems to have the galley intensity. Both Vancouver Giants, both drafted in the 5th round. Thorpe idolized Galley as a kid. Hey, there you go. Good little piece of trivia there. It's one thing to work on your skating, but you need the right coach. In today's hockey, edge work is so important. And like you said, Grant, Sawyer doesn't have great edges. No, he doesn't. Thorpe has to be given an opportunity to flourish in Laval. He will. He'll get that. I'll be watching Thorpe's stats this year. More than 10 minutes a game will help him for sure. Yeah, for sure. I missed most of the video reviews. I'll have to go back and look after. From what I've seen, they both have some attributes to make the jump to the NHL at some point. Yeah, well, yeah, to the NHL. I just don't know that Logan Sawyer will ever find himself a spot on Montreal's roster. But Ken, it's a skating. That's the main going to be the main roadblock for him. But and there's some structural issues there, right? And you can only improve. You can only improve it so much when you have the knock knee issue and such. But Nick Paul, I remember watching Nick Paul in his draft year in Ottawa. He didn't just have the 10 to 2. He had the quarter to 3, right? Just and it was like I saw 3 shifts. I saw, this guy never going to be able to play in the NHL, right? And yeah, he did. Became a half decent player. So sometimes they can overcome it, right? That's why I'm not going to make a prediction that, oh no, there's no way that Tyler Thorpe will ever play in the NHL. Dallas drafted Nick Paul in the 4th round. He was part of the I think it was the Spezza deal. Ottawa traded Spezza to Dallas, and they got back part of the package they got back was Nick Paul, if I recall correctly. And became a decent player with the Senators, and then went to Tampa, and was a key part in that 21-22 team, right? So, has a cup or two. Who assistant coach was on that team, eh? Derek Lalonde. But yeah, he won a cup with Tampa, so, and was a big part of it. 5 goals, 4 assists on their run in 21-22. So, even had a 24-goal, 46-point season with Tampa. Mind you, Nick Paul's bigger than Logan Sawyer. A little more rugged, brings a little more size, and he could also play center as well. And certainly Logan Sawyer is not going to be a center. Oh, Brian, yeah, Nick Paul has size, more size, right? Exactly. Sorry, I wasn't. I was looking at his stats there. Had the thing up, but yeah, he's bigger. Thorpe looks like a heavyweight fighter. His knees don't buckle. No, he can fight. He can handle himself. Absolutely. Papanicus is another prospect I'm really interested in. He has the size and skating. Yeah, Thorpe and Papanicus, there's a lot of similarities there, actually. And at the end of the day, what I'll end up doing is I'm going to probably pick Papanicus versus Jackeye would be a good, although I did just profile Jackeye. I don't know if I'll do it again right away, but there's a good comp, right? Those two. But I'll keep doing this, a prospect versus prospect. Who who do I think has the edge in this particular matchup? I give the edge to Thorpe, and also Papanicus is ahead of Sawyer as a prospective Montreal Canadien too, and maybe his floor is even a little higher than Jackeye's. That remains to be seen, but he's certainly a better skater at the same age. Even a little bigger. but certainly not as consistently competitive. And that's, that is an important trait. It really is. And it's why Florian still has a decent shot of, hey, he's already gotten an NHL look, right? Almost made the team out of camp. You know, he's on the short list there, in large part just because of this. Forward roster looks pretty set unless a trade happens. Berard likely the 13th forward. Unless he clears waivers, Fowler likely starts in Laval. If a kid from Laval steals a point, then it means someone traded. Yeah, maybe Berard ends up being the 13th forward. That's really not an ideal guy, though, too, Oh, we need a little more size, a little more truculence. Let's take out, Anderson and put in Berard tonight, or you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Would Berard get picked up on waivers? I don't think so. I see Berard as an AHLer myself. I think it's better odds that it's somebody like Condata. That Berard's not that old yet either, right? Like he's still. I would imagine they still considered him a kid that, can still do a little bit of developing, right? Like he's 23 years old. So do you want him sitting in the stands? I don't know. They'd prefer to have Condata probably, I would think anyway. I really like these prospect comparisons. Thanks, Sheldon. I'm glad you do. Oh, we're at 100. Oh, and it just went down to 95. As soon as I said we're at 100, went down to 95. But hit that like button if you don't mind. Subscribe if you haven't already. All of that is truly appreciated. Let me just get this, and I'll go here. I'll throw this up and tell you a little bit about Next Level Hockey. Specialists in hockey development trusted by NHL prospects. Whether you're looking to elevate your shooting, skating, stick handling, or overall game, NLH is here to take your game to the next level. Visit them at nextlevelhockey.com and follow their Instagram at nextlevelhockey_ for daily tips, posts, and updates. If you or someone you know have aspiring hockey players who want to elevate their game, trust Next Level Hockey to guide them forward. Next Level Hockey, it's in the name. And our other fine sponsor, of course, Bonachère Caves, Eganville, Ontario. Hop, skip, and a jump from Ottawa. Folks, if you're in the nation's capital region, either live in this area or coming down to our beautiful capital city, make a point to go down to Bonachère Caves. It's a beautiful drive in the Upper Ottawa Valley. Private, family-owned business run by hockey fans. Here is a look inside. Well lit, planking all the way through. BonachareCaves.com. Check out their website. You'll be pleasantly surprised. And of course, if you go there, Adam and Chris, Caveman Chris, he's holding it. He's holding the copy of Valley Snapshots. That's my first book that I wrote, and quite proud of it. I gave him 200 copies this summer and said, Chris, pass these out to people that come to the caves, especially any ones that happen to have seen your sponsorship on Habscast. So go there, tell them, hey, Grant sent me. Where's my copy? My free copy. Doesn't cost you a cent. That's like a $30, $40 book, free if you go on a guided tour Abonashare Caves. All right. Oh, get him off of there. Has anybody gone yet? Tommy. Good day, Tommy. 40 likes. Let's hit the like button, folks. Yeah. Little early to be Bolduc. 250 goal seasons in really liked him second half at St. Louis on the power play especially. I think he's just got to start finding his grip the stick a little tightly at times in Montreal. It's not easy, man. We saw it with Drew. Sometimes it takes these guys a little while to adjust. There's such pressure, right? Quebecer come back, you know, you get traded for a guy that was a first round pick, and you get off to a great start, and the expectations are like, ooh, sky high, right? What a steal getting him from AU, eh? All of the headlines and all that started last year. Then he went into a tailspin, couldn't score a goal for a while, pressure mounted, I mean, we saw it with Monty too, right? Just the mental aspect for him last year, kind of it snowballed. Bolduc, we saw some of the same thing. I think the pressure got to him, but I liked how he adapted his game as the year went along. I think he got the memo. Play a bit more like Josh Anderson. Use your size. Get in on the forecheck, hit, and things will come your way. Then he started to bounce a few in. I wouldn't be surprised if we got a 25 goal season from Bolduc this year. I mean, what was he, 22 last year? Pretty young, right? Really only his second full year in the NHL. Got to be patient with these kids. It's not an easy adjustment, I mean, it took Slav 3-4 years to really adapt, right? Yeah, he was younger when he came in, but it still takes 2, 3, 4 years, no matter what your age is, to truly adapt, to the greatest league in the world. So I'm keeping an open mind on Bolduc. I don't like to, you know, especially after one season, the kid, I'm not going to make a prediction on say, oh well, I still think he has second line upside. Now, did he fulfill that with the Habs last year? No. He had 12 goals, right? That wasn't great, but at the same time, he scored 19 the year before. He's fully capable of popping 20 to 25. So let's, let's cut the kid a bit of slack here, and hopefully his second go around, you know, isn't isn't too bad. As far as 1, 2, I'm just having a look here, points wise. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, 7 points in the playoffs, 3 goals. Wasn't too bad. Played with a bit of an edge. Hey, he's got to be more consistent. This will be an important year for him. You know, he's got to bounce back a little bit. Going to be 23 years old. Still not in his prime. We'll see. We'll see. Middle line upside with this guy. Likely a third liner at best, but again, I don't like to, especially 1 year, first year with the team. I'll give him a little leeway there, and hope that we can see a little more from him. I don't think he started to make some plays, and that had been I wasn't sure about his vision, right? He wasn't making a lot of plays didn't look like he saw the ice very well. Certainly the first 60 games of the year, but I saw some progress in that regard towards the end of the year. Um, hey, he did have a 60 assist season in in the queue, and which tells me that it's not just that he's a shooter. He can make plays. Again, adapting to the lack of time and space in the NHL, it can take some time, and we'll see if this year, just like Cappy, towards the end of the year, started turnover over pucks too much, um, getting hiccups, not playing as smart as he had because the time and space wasn't there for him anymore. Hopefully, both of them bounce back, and here's hoping stronger years. Actually, I'd be happy with another 22 goal year from Cappy, but we'll see. May you finished with 5 goals. I prefer him over Chairman Reinbacher, but Hughes was never keeping Mayu. Yeah, I guess not. Hey, I'm one who said no. I don't think this is a good trade at the time, and I still feel that way. But it's been made, and so now I root for Bolduc. He's a Montreal Canadian. I'm not gonna dwell over. Trade's been made. Montreal, they thought they had they needed a rugged look. Bolduc, what was one of the top power play goal scorers in the second half of last year. I think he had 12 goals in the last 30 games or 20. So like he was headed like you were thinking, oh, he might be a 30 goal scorer. So I got why they did it, even though I didn't, I wouldn't have done it. I still understood why they did it. And also the pressure of what went down with, like, in your match. I guess this is what you're implying, just the what happened when the Habs drafted Mayu. But I thought that was mostly, like, it had really died down, right? All of the kerfuffle about it. I think Mayu could have played Montreal, but at the end of the day, moving to another organization was probably what was best for him. And the Canadiens got what they hoped would be a 25 goal scorer. He got half of that in his first year in Montreal, but too early to write him off. I think he was 22 years old. I've seen a lot of you know who who struggled at 22 years of age in a Montreal Canadiens uniform with high expectations. Guy Lafleur. So I've seen, and I could name a whole bunch of other examples, but that one really sticks out, right? 130 goal scorer in the queue, first overall pick, going to be the next Beliveau. Third year, his goal totals went down his first 3 years, right? He was like a 25 goal scorer in his third year at 23 years of age. So I learned a long time ago not to, write off 22-year-old prospects or players. When I was 22, I was working for Metro Toronto. What were you guys doing? My hockey career was over. Yeah, yeah. I don't know. I was pretty good in that that beer league in Ottawa, boy. I think I won the top defenseman award. RA Center. Yeah, yeah. My hockey career was over as well, Tommy. In spite of Boston Rage, I still prefer Michael Hage. Wow. Bring back the Boston rag. A little Steely Dan. I like players who are thoughtful and will send flowers to opposing players on Valentine's Day. Yeah, me too. Ones that slap their sticks on the ice. Kind of glad we're not rushing trades. It will make Cap hella interesting seeing players fighting for their spot, especially the Thorpes, Jack guys, Papanikis, eh? The Papanikis. I think Bolduc could possibly be another Doug Risebrough type, and I would take that all day. Yeah, except he's not going to be a center, but yeah. You disagree with my assessment of Cappy. I feel that when they took Slats off the line, I felt wanted to get other players going, started to reduce Cap's ice time. You haven't been around here too long, eh, Brian? You know who the biggest proponent of Oliver Kapanen was all year long? It was me. So, don't take a couple of things that I said there as, all I was saying was that he didn't end the year well. And I mean, there's no bigger Kapanen proponent than me. Trust me. 4 years, I freaking blew this kid's horn. So, fact is, he lost confidence. He hit a wall mentally and physically. I saw it. I mean, I was the biggest friggin' biggest fan of Kapanen. I'm the president of the Oliver Kapanen fan club, Brian. So you're preaching to the choir here. You say you don't agree with my assessment of Cappy. That was not a full assessment of Cappy. Believe me, I like Kapanen a lot, but I also I saw it with my own two eyes, and so did Marty, or he wouldn't have benched him in the playoffs and put him on the fourth line on the wing because he clearly was not playing at the same level that he had been the first 70 games of the year. I hope he gets back to that because I still think personally that Kapanen can be Montreal's second line center. That's still his upside for me. That remains. He was 22 years old as well. So it's no different for him. That's why that was where I was going with that, Brian, is that these kids, both Bolduc and Kapanen, were 22 years old this year. So let's not be writing them, pigeonholing them. I argued with people all year. Kapanen's only a third line center. Well, no, he played second line center against all other teams' big lines, and Frank, he had more even strength. His even strength goals per 60 were better than McDavid. With his 22 goals, Cappy joins an elite group. Bedard, Beniers, Eichel, McKinnon, Matthews, Straub. Current centers to score 20 goals or more. Looking forward to see what he can do. Yep. You mean as rookie, Kevin? Yeah. He tied the Montreal Canadiens all-time record for centers. I don't count Newsy Lalonde and the other guy because they weren't really rookies. They came from the NHA to the NHL, and they're being judged as rookies. Looking forward to see what he can do. Yeah. Cappy is way better. Oh, well, okay, Brian, all right. For sure. I'm not going to argue with you. You got it all. All right. After me just spending 5-10 minutes saying, you don't wait and see. No, you already know. Okay. Good for you. I'm glad that you've got it figured out, my friend. You don't need to see any more hockey. That's what it is what it is. Okay. Good. Saw a picture of Caulfield and Zegras at the World Cup game today enjoying themselves. I wonder if Zegras paid for tickets with his new contract. Yeah, they're buddies. I remember interviewing. I remember interviewing Cappy in the or sorry, Caulfield before, and I asked him like, oh yeah, Zegras, my best buddy from the team. He is so skilled. I said, as skilled as Jackie is? Well, no, not that skilled, but they played together. They played together on the U.S. development team, obviously, and yeah, they're good buds. Got COVID in his draft year. That was in the at college that year. Caulfield did. He ended up getting crap because he told me about it, and I revealed it article. And anyway, 6-8 months later, everybody had friggin' COVID, and it was no big deal. Yeah, exactly. I don't, one's a center, one's a friggin' winger. I don't know, like, what's your definition of better? Cappy's better defensively. He's smarter. Bolduc is more rugged. He's thicker. Plays more of a board style. They're different players. That's well put, Zeffel. I don't like to. And at 22 years of age, like Cappy was better last year. Year before, Bolduc was better. So who knows this year? It could be the other way around. You don't know. I don't like to be matter of fact about it. Like, oh, I know who's going to be better. I know, this is a fact. Well, no, it's an opinion. We all just have opinions. 15 million. I can't believe this overpaying in the NHL. Yeah, I know. I'm going to bring that up again here, folks. Oh, because you played hockey, you played pro, then you know who's going to be okay, Brian. Your opinion's no more important than anybody else's because you played pro hockey. Wayne Gretzky, a great coach. He was the best hockey player ever. Oh, yeah, okay. Whatever, Brian. Come on here and be a know-it-all. I'm sorry, I don't put up with it. All right. Let's look at this again here. Demidov, 9.15 mil. Hudson, 8.85 mil. Slavkovsky, 7.6 mil. Reinbacher, 0.95 mil. Hage, 0.95 mil. $27.5 million on the salary cap with those 5 players in 2027, 28. Okay. So not this year, but next year, they are going to be making the exact same as Connor Bedard and Bowen Byram. 27.5 million. They're both going to be making the same, right? 27.5 million combined total. It's just it boggles my mind that the Canadiens are so set in that regard. Demidov and Hudson alone are better than Bedard and Byram, in my opinion. Will be better as a combination. Then you also got Slavkovsky, you got Reinbacher, you got Hage, who will be on their entry-level contracts. I think Reinbacher will be 2 years from now, he'll be a top 4 defenseman, and Hage will be a top 6 forward. Demidov, obviously a top 6 forward. Hudson, a top 2 defenseman. Slavkovsky, a first line forward. Making the same as Bedard and Byram, Byram, I don't know. I think I don't know that he'll be better than Reinbacher in 2 years. Honestly, I don't know that. but he's going to be making $11.55 more million than Reinbacher. Like who's going to be the team that's challenging for a cup at that point? It's not going to be Detroit. That's for damn sure. What else we got here? We got back. Anyone got comments about Thorpe and Sawyer? Seems like everybody's kind of. I thought there'd be maybe a couple of more Sawyer fans that come on here and tell me I'm crazy, but Sawyer's got he's got some nice skill, and I like his motor, but it's just that skating. And it's funny how people say, well, I was a great. You can always improve your skating. Yeah, but that goes for every. While you're improving your skating, you know what the other young players are doing? They're improving their skating too, right? Everybody's improving their skating. So like it just like I don't get why like yeah, it's one thing that you can improve, but it's also, every other prospect is improving their skating too, theoretically. So if you're a little knock-kneed and you've got an issue, in that regard, are you going to are you going to overcome that? Well, can you improve your skating enough that you can play at the NHL level? It's there's the odds are against them, but again, I don't like to get too emphatic one way or another, as you saw earlier. I mean, you can't. I don't like to pigeonhole guys, and what I will say is that Thorpe. I like Thorpe more than Sawyer at this point. I think he's got a better chance of playing. But Logan Sawyer's a nice prospect. I like the progress he's made. I've always liked his dangle. Like he can handle the puck. It's one of those guys where it looks like it kind of sticks. The puck sticks to his blade, right? But anyway, I am a Tyler Thorpe fan. I think he can play, and he will play for the Canadiens and bring some elements that are much needed to the club. Zegers may got the cash, but Coffey will be getting paid with silver later. Yeah, I guess Zegers is making a little more than Caulfield. It's not. I don't think Caulfield's hurting for cash either. Not that huge a difference. Actually, Cole's right now makes more money than Zegers, I would think, right? Like Zegers' new deal doesn't kick in there just yet. Hughes is a very good GM. You can see from the salary cap management. Yep, that's true. Are there better cap managers in the NHL than Hugo? I can't think of any. No, I know what you're saying. It's none. There is not a better cap manager in the NHL. In my estimation, I don't. Isaac Lundstrom will be out until at least early November after having off-season Achilles surgery. He Lundstrom, of course, was a first-round pick of Anaheim. Now with Columbus, and they will be without his services at least early November. I'd say if you had Achilles surgery, July 18th, July 19th, you're out. You're probably out to the new year, I would think. J.S. Sauve was knock-kneed, but led the league in scoring in the queue back in the day. Yeah, he wasn't a very big guy either, Brian. And he, yeah, he he played a little. He played a little bit. Wasn't certainly wasn't a star, but yeah, he made the NHL. He was only 5'6". Had 16 goals and 40 assists one year for the Nordiques. So came up, of course, through Buffalo was where he started, and had 19 goals, 36 assists. It wasn't so much that he was knock-kneed. He was knock-kneed in 5'6", so he really had the odds stacked against him, Brian. But he played well. He played at the same time you did, right? 1960 born. You played for Verdun, and he played for Trois Rivières. You got a look. You got 3 games with the Red Wings. I remember you playing for the Adirondack Red Wings, and hey, you got a cup of coffee in the NHL. That's more than a lot of us can say. Just having a look here to see who you played with in Adirondack. Donnie Murdoch. Donnie was on the way down, eh? Johnny Bukaboom, Jeff's brother. Claude Wiesel. Larry Trader. You played with Larry, eh? Larry played 6 games that year with Adirondack. He's in my hockey book. He's from Barry's Bay, Ontario. Larry, yeah. Larry's from, he played, he was in my hockey book because I did a book on notable players from the Ottawa Valley. And Larry was one of them. He ended up 85, 86. He had a really good year in Adirondack. 56 points. Played for the Habs. Larry Robinson got hurt. Larry had been traded to Montreal, and he got the call up and actually played pretty well when Larry was out. Got in 30 games of action with the Canadiens. I don't know if people remember Larry Trader or not, but yeah, he played half decently, but never got another look in the NHL, and then went over and played in Europe. Trivia for you guys: who were the 2 players in the history of the cap space who signed a contract for a higher percentage on the cap than Leo Carlson? Oh, there's a good one. That's not something that I really follow all that closely. Ovi wasn't one of them. Yeah. Thanks for bringing that up. I saw that today. I saw Dwayne Ward trending, and I don't know if anyone else thought this way, but I can. Exact same age as me. Kind of a stocky guy. Don't tell me that he passed away. And yeah, because why else would he be trending? Dwayne Ward. Wardo, part of the Blue Jays back-to-back World Series teams, a big part, good pitcher, passed away, which was sorry to hear that. I thought Zegras was one of the bank robber signings. Yeah, yeah. Gerard Gallant, yeah, big bad Gerard. He was, yeah. He played in the for the for Adirondack before he made the jump. Lane Lambert, Bobby Probert. There was a bunch of them that played. Adirondack had quite a squad in those days, that's for sure. Dennis Polonich. He was a tough customer. Wasn't very big. Brian, you put up lots of PIMs too. 250 PIMs for Adirondack that year. Nothing to sneeze at. Curious here. I'm going to look up the penalty minute leaders that season. Does this? Oh, it's not clicking in. There weren't too many that had 250. Pierre-Yves Giroux had 337. Mel Hewitt. Dwight Schofield. Yeah. Paul Mulvey, Grant's brother. Oh boy. Good stuff. I was in Toronto when they won the World Series in Toronto. Oh yeah? That's pretty cool. Who was your line mate? Joey Kocher and who? Polonich? That's quite a line. If that's the case. Joey, he didn't punch as much as a lot of guys, but when they landed, hard puncher, man. Joey Kocher, really hard. That year in Adirondack, Eric Vale. Oh, geez, Eric was on the way down. Greg Jolly, former first overall pick. Mark Lofthouse, he was a high pick out of New Westminster. Brad's Motor City Smith, Jody Gage, Bill Hogebo. Yeah, Teddy Nolan. Veteran team, man. A lot of guys that had paid their dues, right? I recognize just about every one of these names, like Derek Smith, Bobby Francis, Mark Curtin, Joey Patterson, Tom Rowe, Carmen Sorella, Joe's brother, Randy Ladouceur, Earl Ingerfield. Yeah. Well, that was a tough line, man, if you played with Kocher and Polonich. Dennis was only 5'6", but just like Gary Howitt, he had quite the schnoz on him, eh? You knew he'd been in a few fights. Polonich, I think he might have led the NHL in penalty minutes in some. Him and Schultz, 302 PIMs. He was captain in 76, 77. Teddy Lindsay was probably GM then. He loved. What did he call it? Tough hockey is back in town, or something like that. Aggressive hockey is back in town. Ted Lindsay was also in my. Ted Lindsay was also in my hockey book. I interviewed Ted Lindsay He's from Renfrew, Ontario. Grew up, well, born there. His dad played for the Renfrew Millionaires. He was a goalie. One hitter quitter. Yeah, that was Joey. Dave Hansen and Steve Short. Yeah, good names, good names. The Bruise Brothers, that was a duo no one wanted to fight or face. No, absolutely. You won the Calder Cup that year? Okay, that's pretty cool. That's, well, good. I'm glad you mentioned that because, I mean, that's my era, right? I used to follow AHL. Well, the people that in the draft. Oh, you had a good 80-81 would have been the year, Brian, that oh no, that's Polonich, sorry. Polonich. The year I'm looking at, you guys got beat out in the first round. What year are you talking about that you went to the or maybe you just played 6 games? 82, 83? Certainly got to play more than that to win the Calder. Dallas Blackhawks too. Man. Kelly Kissio. So you and Bill Hogeboom, what, you followed him to back-to-back years. Anyway, yeah, that's all cool. Cool stuff. Wayne Crawford, yeah, there's another good name. We beat Maine that year with Pelly Lindbergh. Oh, yeah? Which year, Brian? Because it only shows you played 6 and 7 games in the playoffs. 80-81. Okay, it's got you down for 8 games. That was your first year. Okay. So in and out of the lineup your first year, I guess at playoff time. That's pretty cool. Pelly Lindbergh, eh? Wow. Pete Mahovlich. Mahovlich was on that team. 1 goal, 18 assists in the playoffs that year. That's, hey, not bad having Pete Mahovlich on your squad, eh? And that was his last hurrah. Freddie Williams, Johnny Paddock. Did you play against Terry Murray? Was Terry Murray there then? No, maybe not. He'd have been up. He played in for Maine earlier. But yeah. So you played with Pete Mahovlich in your rookie year in the AHL. That's pretty cool. Played with Ray Bourque. Oh yeah, what for Dunn? Fred Williams. That was a big trade. The Pierre LaRouche for Pete Mahovlich. Another Sam Pollock special. Yeah, Ray Bourque, Steve Casper. That's pretty cool. Right on. Well, I still stick by my story, Brian. Just, I don't like to pigeonhole guys. Yeah, I like Kapanen better than Bolden today, but no guarantees he'll be better in a couple of years. I think he will be, but I'm not going there. I hope you can respect why. Wayne Wood, goaltender. Yeah. Is this the same Brian Johnson who was in my ball hockey league in Montreal? Oh, there you go. Special place in this Habs fans' heart for Pete. Yeah. Yeah. Pete's a good. I ran into Pete. Well, he had 250 penalty. Go look at his PIMS. He can handle himself, obviously. 250 penalty minutes every year. Yeah. Drop the gloves once or twice. Norma Oba. Yep. Another good name. I was at a rookie tournament in Toronto, and I saw the credentials were sitting. Somebody had left. Are you the Vice? Okay. Oh no, I friggin' huge Kapanen fan. I had him as a top 5 Habs prospect for years, ahead of Owen Beck, and people said I was nuts. Loved him. Loved him all the way up, and loved him last year too. He just hit a wall, unfortunately. But Pete Mahovlich. So I look at the credentials. Somebody had, obviously had forgot them or whatever. It was Pete Mahovlich, and he was with who was he scouting for? It might have been Detroit, but anyways, so no. Well, that gives me an excuse to introduce myself to Pete, and he was in the lounge. Hey, Pete, how's it going? Yeah, I think you might want this. Oh, okay, right. Thank you. But Liam McGuire knows Pete pretty well. So yeah. So you did play in the ball hockey league together? All right. I used to play a fair bit of ball hockey too. Yeah, Ottawa League. Good times. All right, folks. So we're going off on a little tangent here. Thanks for chiming in, Brian. We'll have to we'll pick this up another time, but everybody, I better. It's 9:00, 2 hours in. How time flies, eh? Yet another fun episode. How many likes we got there? Did we get up to 70 or 80? Somewhere in that vicinity. We'll get it up over 100 again. Like, last night we couldn't get her past 80, and then I checked later on. Oh, we're up to 130. So lots of people watch it and like the episode afterwards, and that's fine too. But while I'm still doing it, I like people to hit that like button if they can. Keep her rolling. We have 80 watching. I just want to see how many people have tuned in so far. I like to give the stat 984. So we're just about to crack 1,000 people in 2 hours tuned in on a Sunday night, mid July. Gotta love it. So next up, click on here and see how many likes we have. Thank you, Dick. 65. All right. Well, I just clicked on and we're up to 66. Yeah. Okay. Grant, you are a legend. I don't know about that. Matt, you a drummer? Are you Matt the drummer? You're a legend too, my friend. All right. It is now 9:00. Messi couldn't do it, eh? Spain was all over them. Hopefully there's some big hockey news coming up. Here's something. Chime in here, folks, just quickly. Who would you like me prospect comparison? Give me two names, and I'll do a comp. Fun days back when you really helped take us to the finals, but just a bit short. Yeah. Eh? Cheers, everyone. Good to see Spain take out Argentina. Yeah. Maybe. Right on. It's nice to see people that played a bit of sports together, crossing each other's paths here. It's a small world. Brian, I am not. I'm in Ottawa. Ottawa Valley guy. Me and Liam McGuire. Yeah, played all my formative hockey. Ottawa region. Don't cry for me, Argentina. Okay. Good one, Costa. They look like a few of them were crying. Well, hey, Spain whopped their ass. Wasn't even close. So the team that deserved to win won, right? Just like Carolina deserved to beat Montreal, so the team that deserved to win won, much as we didn't like it. Yeah. Okay. Well, look, it is now 9:00. I think the young lad's probably home. Probably wants to game. So I will bid you adieu. Nobody's come up with some names. You know what? I'll come up with some names. I'll do a comp prospect. Grant, your show is the most interactive online. Well, hey, we're all we're all just fans. Yeah, I might have scouted a bit. Brian may have played some pro hockey. Uh, whatever. We're all, at the end of the day, we're all Habs fans, right? So it's all good. My nephew's in Gatineau. If I'm up there, we got to go for a pint. Sounds good. A couple of guys released their U24. Montreal was number 2 on all lists I've seen. Quite impressive when you see the great players they have that are 24 to 26. Pickford, yeah. Pickford versus who? Mooney. Okay. You guys aren't getting the I'm doing a comp, right? So Mooney, what versus Mooney? Like there's got to be 2. If you're going to do a comparison, I need 2 names. Everybody's just coming up with 1. All right. Like who do I compare Mooney to? Who's the other 5'7" prospect in the system? I wonder what the future holds for Meshar. There it is. Meshar versus Mooney. Maybe I'll do that one. Yeah. I think we all know what the answer to that one will be. Phil, I interviewed Phil a couple of years ago. He's a good kid, but who's Bog? Zach Bogosian against Pickford? Bogdan Konyushkov? That's the laziest. That is the laziest spelling I've ever seen of Konyushkov, Dave, I have to say. Owen Protz and Arbor Jacki. All right. I'm sorry I asked. Brian, you tried to spell Protz 4 times and you got auto-corrected to protect. That's funny. I was wondering why you kept protect. All right. Protz, yes. Protz and who? Protz Pickford. Okay, sure. Couldn't get two more different. How about Protz and Cleves? Would that one make more sense? It's nice to kind of get guys that are sort of similar, you know? Runso, Pickford, Protz. I might do it that way, Brian. You're onto something, but I'd like them to be sort of similar. So Protz and Cleves, Pickford, and Runso. And I'll surprise you too. All right. Okay. Grant's thoughts on Cole Eiserman. He's no Steve Eiserman, folks. And funny, Brian, you know, you played what? Well, obviously you played with Steve Eiserman. Camps with Steve Eiserman. And that's always my story. I got called up. I played for Pembroke against Eiserman when he was with the Nepean Raiders. I was 17, he was 15. I found out pretty quickly that, you know, I should be going to college. This kid zoomed all over the ice, and it was a good reminder for me. Okay, kid, get yourself a diploma. Yeah, I thought maybe Rohr and Mooney. Yeah, that was kind of what I came up with too. If you wanted to, Rohr versus Mooney, Pickford versus, I don't know, somebody, and that's the name I came up with for Mooney was Rohr. And okay, you sat beside Stevie Y, yeah. Well, hell of a hockey man, absolutely. I remember him in his minor hockey days. His hair was down, like he had long hair. It was like down to his ass, and then, oh, gonna get drafted here. I better get her cut short. Peterborough Pete's. When was I scouting for the Habs? 2008, 2009, 2010. Yeah, I was there for the dreaded Louis LeBlanc draft. I didn't have any. I never scouted Louis LeBlanc, so you can't blame it on me. Never saw him play. I know I talked to Guy Boucher and Andre Tournier, and I had a few. You know, I had those were my two main sources in the queue, like coaches. They were great to talk to. Guy Boucher would talk all friggin' night hockey with me, man. He just such passion, and Andre the same way. But told me just how competitive this Louis LeBlanc kid was. So everything I heard was he was going to put in the hard work that it would take to become an NHLer. Bobby McKenzie, he I did a feature on Kunyashkov last week. If you look up, so I don't really want to do him again right now. I did, I featured him last week. Check that out, Mark, if you want. There, I think it's last. I don't know. Go to my or go to the channel, and you'll see a video. That I did. Where is it here? July 12th. So a week ago today. In 2027, 28, Bogdan Konyushkov will ... So lots of in-depth discussion about Bogdan a week ago. Who was the head scout? Tim Timmins? Trevor Timmins? Yeah. Trevor and I are, I've known Trevor for a lot of years. Yeah. Trevor's the one that got me a job scouting. He's from Marnprior. I'm from Renfrew originally. Ottawa Valley boys. So, yeah. Trevor and I still talk lots. Good guy. All right. Look, I got to get rolling here. We've got 1,000 people viewing on X now. Good numbers on X. Appreciate you all tuning in. Got to get rolling. Listen, I'll 7:00. Okay, is I'm doing a live podcast 7:00 at night. Yeah, Louis LeBlanc did make sense at the time. Trevor really liked Chris Kreider. Like if it had been solely up to him, if the draft hadn't been in Montreal and all the pressure to pick the Quebec, the Quebec leaguer for a change, because he hadn't been picking any Quebecers that were qualified at that point in the draft. Hey, I remember it well. Bob McKenzie, who was dialed in as well as anybody, when it came to the draft, and talking to scouts at the time, and said when they picked Louis LeBlanc 18th overall, he said, this guy could end up being the steal of the draft. Most lists had him top 15. And I think Bob did. So, you just never know. There's another example of a kid. You don't know what they're going to do off the ice, right? Louis LeBlanc, 3 years later, was still that skinny little kid that, Guy Boucher insisted that nobody would work harder than this guy. He was the most competitive kid you'd ever come across, but he never got competitive in the gym. He never put on that, never put on the muscle that he needed to do. Didn't help that he went to Harvard. He bounced all over there. Should have just stayed at one plan and not be changing it all up. And yet another kid that, again, succumbed to the pressure of being a Quebec-born kid playing in Montreal. Might happen to Bolduc too. Wasn't a great start, Brian. I'm with you. I like Kapanen more than Bolduc now, but I've seen guys have really good first years and guys have off years, and it gets flip-flopped. It happens, right? So we'll see what the future holds with those guys, but glad that I have been looking for a vice president of the Oliver Kapanen fan club, so I'll hit you up for that. Okay. I could stay on here all friggin' night. Yeah, very good conversation. Thanks, Brian. Nice logo. That's the Adirondack Red Wings logo, right? Okay, everybody, have a good night. We'll see you again here tomorrow night, 7:00, and I'll surprise you with another prospect versus prospect head to head. Okay? All right. Bye for now.